the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks, flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Go bow your head with me. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to wake up once again today, to have another day to do your will here on earth. Thank you for the cooler weather and the rain that you brought last night, today, and looked to bring this week, God. God, in light of the events that took place 22 years ago today, I just wanted to first thank you for the first responders all across the country that are willing to run towards danger when we want to run away, God. I just pray a special blessing on them today and always that they'll be able to go safely home to their friends and family. May we always remember the united front that we had as Americans, God, that race, religion, political affiliation didn't matter on that day. We were united as one group of Americans with the common goal of just treating everyone as equals, God, just lifting each other up as humans and knowing in your eyes that we're all the same. Lastly, may we never take today for granted, God. Just help us to see that we are never guaranteed a tomorrow or even an end to today. Help us to just set out each day with a purpose and a passion to fulfill what you would have us to do. If there's one within earshot here today that doesn't know you, God, may you just speak to their heart and just get that taken care of so they can see paradise when that day ultimately comes, God. I just pray that you be with us today as we conduct the business of the county, God. Just give us guidance and knowledge that we do the business, do your will, and we just do the best for this county and our residents, God. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay. Item 2 on the agenda is public comments. Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to item 3, which is to consider and or approve the minutes from our previous commissioners court meetings.
No corrections or additions to the regular meeting on August 28th, 2023.
Hey, do I hear a motion?
I move to approve the minutes from the previous commissioners court meeting. I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Item 4 is to consider and or approve the county auditor's tabulated report. Anybody have any questions for Alicia? No. Do I hear a motion?
Move to approve the county auditor's tabulated report as presented.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. All right. Work session on the bills. Did anybody have any questions or comments on the bills that we were sent? Do I hear a motion to approve?
I move to approve the payment of the bills. I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right, Amy, do you have any payroll?
Yes, I have payroll, total payroll wages, 615,997.04. And the payables for payroll was $246,050.93, which is a total of $861,037.97.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the payroll. Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, item 8 is to consider and or approve the fiscal year 2024 Savins grant contract. We renew this every year. Craig has reviewed it, has no issues with it. This is the victims. Money that the DA's office manages this. Actually, Teely does. And we would just renew that every year. I don't think there were any changes. Significant changes. Maybe I should say that. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the 2024 Savins grant contract.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Item 9, consider and or approve Texas Department of Agriculture Texans Feeding Texans Grant. This is the money that we actually donate to the Opportunity Center, which is $9,400. And every year we have to do a resolution authorizing the grant so they can send it into the state and get approved for those grant funds. So do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve the Texas Feeding Texans grant. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, item 10 is to consider and or approve the 2 interlocal agreements with Carson County for seal coating. Dwayne, did you have anything on that?
Yeah, Judge, that's just their annual seal coating stuff that we help them with. They've got 2 projects this year. They have one in local agreement for each project.
Okay, perfect.
That's the same Craig did look at them.
Yes.
Fine.
How long is this one gonna take?
About a half a day each,
What?
half a day each.
Oh,
Yeah, it's 1 mile and 1 precinct, about a little bit over 1 mile over precinct.
All right, do I hear a motion?
I move to approve the interlocal agreements with Carson County for seal coating.
second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Thanks, Dwayne. All right, item 11 is to consider and or approve a proclamation declaring September as Hunger Action Month. So I got this from the High Plains Food Bank, and it's just a proclamation declaring that September be Hunger Action Month, just to bring awareness to that need. And also just to remind y'all that we do donate $2,500 to Helping Hands. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the proclamation declaring September as Hunger Action Month.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. All right, item 12 is to consider and or approve the holidays for 2024. I sent you all the list. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the holidays for 2024.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Questions? All in favor?
I was gonna ask if we could make Thanksgiving every week, but
As long as you're cooking.
okay.
Okay, turkey every week. All right, item 13 is to consider and or approve appointments to the Hutchinson County Appraisal District Board of Directors. Okay, currently have Carrie Kimmel and Ben Bentley serving on the board. We can nominate up to 5 positions. We usually just nominate a couple. So, and I have spoken to both Carrie and Ben, and they have agreed to agreed for their names to be placed on, unless you all have any other names you want to place on. Do I hear a motion?
I move to approve we just nominate them?
Yes,
The
these
nomin-
nominations, we'll vote at another time once
Okay.
all the nominations are made.
Nominate Ben Bentley and Carrie Kimmel for the 2 positions at the Hudson County Appraisal District Board.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, thank you. Okay, item 14, I did not have any ARP grant requests this time. So item 15 is to consider and or approve the burn ban or rescind the burn ban.
Currently, we're at a 492 on our drought index. Obviously with the conditions, we've got it up there quite a bit, but this week we have a pretty good chance of some moisture. We already have numerous people calling and wanting to do some burn this week. So I want to hold off on the burn ban. We're still under the 500 mark. Hold off on the burn ban so we can get some people through this week, and then we'll reevaluate it by the next commissioner.
Thanks, Jerry. Item 16, consider and or approve disposal of obsolete office equipment. I don't think I had anything. So. Item 17, accept certificates of completion from elected or appointed officials.
I have one. Cindy Irwin, County Judge, submitted judicial education record for September 1 of 2022 through August 31st of 2023, meeting her education requirements with TAC with 59 hours.
Okay, item 18, consider and or approve request for use of the club rooms at the Burger Library or Fringe.
Everything we have
You're
in
up to
September is already up to date.
November 4th, we have a baby shower that got scheduled.
Okay. All right, do I hear a motion to approve that?
I move to approve the requested use of the club rooms of the Borger Library
Or Fringe?
or Fritz, yes.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Is that,
I'm assuming it's this.
yes. Now let me see if Craig's gonna, hold on one second. I'm gonna see if Craig's gonna be here. Okay, item 19 is to consider and or approve line item changes, transfers, or budget amendments.
I just had the contingency line item that was approved at the last meeting to pay for the repairs on that Tahoe.
Right,
And then there were several different line item transfers from various departments moving from one line item to another to cover it for the next year. And then also to for the ARP grants that were approved last month.
okay, do I hear a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the line item change transfers, budget amendments as presented.
I have a motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. All right, item 20, consider and or approve advertising, opening, accepting, or awarding bids.
Have one open still for the precinct 2 barn for the hail damage. The last ad read, I think Friday, we'll open bids on the 18th at 5.
Okay.
As of today, I have not received any yet.
Okay,
But I have had several after bids.
okay, good. Item 21, consider and or approve donations to Hutchinson County. Darn it. Okay. Item 22, consider and or approve reports from elected or appointed officials.
For August 2023, reports were submitted by Kelly Ratliff, County Clerk, Tammy McBrayer, District Clerk, Leslie Ford, Justice of the Peace Precinct 1, Amanda Wassong, Justice of the Peace Precinct 2. Amy Back, County Treasurer, submitted August 2023 financial report and tax pool rate as of September 6, 2023 at 5.3036%. Fritch Volunteer Fire Department submitted reports for dates of January 2023 through September 5th, 2023. Dwayne Chisholm, Road Superintendent, submitted written reports for dates of August 28th, 2023 through September 10th, 2023. And Jerry Langwell, Emergency Management Coordinator, submitted his monthly report for August 2023.
Okay, thank you. Item 24 is to consider and or approve sale of struck off tax properties or tax deeds. We have a few. The first property is located at 108 Davenport Street. Gary, I believe that one's yours.
Yeah,
We submitted a bid, well, it was a tax deed for $5,000,
yeah, and it's, the value is 3,300.
3,300. Is there anything on that property or is it
No, it's just
vacant lot?
vacant lot.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I'd say go ahead with it.
So is that your motion?
Yeah.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, yes. Let's go back up to item 22 to, do I hear a motion to approve those reports from elected or appointed officials?
I move to approve reports from elected and appointed officials.
No, I'll second it.
Okay, we have motion second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Huh? We did? Oh. Well, I sure did. I just marked it right off. Okay, we'll go back there. Yeah, we did.
We're moving right along.
Right, we are just moving right along. Okay, item 23
Was
is
excited about it.
the hard works to come. Item 23 is discussion of the county judges and commissioners precinct daily operations. Y'all have anything?
No, we've got air conditioner problems at the annex again. They're on their way. Fix it.
Okay, is it fixable? We hope.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
It's a fan. Wayne and I talked about it this morning.
okay.
We're looking at changing the generator out here at the courthouse for quite a while. Since last winter, we had all the problems, but I thought we found a generator we could quicker, but we can't, but it's gonna be a year. If we order one now, it's gonna be a year to get it. So we want to look into it. We can take bids on it and look into it, going ahead and doing it, but we want to wait a year. Which, get a new generator, you wait a year. Everybody's backlogged that far.
That give us time to do was that generator the one that we were talking about getting the funding from?
No.
No, that was-
For annex.
Oh, that's right.
Jerry's working on a grant, which I don't know if we'll get that or not, but this one's gonna be out of pocket.
So if you found one, even though it'll take a year, we could still get the ball rolling at that price, or would we have to wait till it was available a year to
Do what now?
if we,
The price.
if we moved forward and got bids,
Mhm.
even though it'd be a year from now before it was available,
Mhm.
would the price change a year from now?
No, they'll set the price
So
for now, but it's just.
it'll take a while.
Yeah, everybody's the same. I mean,
It's the same thing on the bulletproof stuff. They've had it ordered. Can't get it.
yeah,
Maybe by the middle of September, the end of September, they'll have it,
but it's one that-
hopefully.
You get a good generator that's gonna be here for a long time.
Yeah.
Good quality, Cummins generator. But there's nothing else available, so I'd say get some bids and see what it's gonna be.
I like that.
Okay, let's move back to item 19 then, which is to consider and or approve. Item 20, which is to consider and or approve app opening, accepting or awarding bids or advertising. If we want to make a decision to go out for bids, we need to cover it in that agenda item.
So you are good with that. I'd make a motion to go out for bids for a courthouse generator.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that? All in favor? Okay, thanks, Ben. Okay, anything else on the precinct daily operations? How are things at the library?
Funny you ask.
Funny, I ask.
So we were gonna do that resin lined, the resin soaked liner through the pipe. When they put it in there, the bladder punctured, so it failed. So they had to go up into the roof anyway and replace the whole thing. But it's still probably gonna be cheaper than what we would have done if we had that full replacement. So they capped it and did the water test, and John Montoya from the border,
Mhm.
the city of Borger, inspected it and we passed. So
Good.
with the rains last night, my phone didn't blow up this morning, so that's good.
Yeah, I talked to Nancy this morning. Is she in here? No. She said there was no water in the library, so that is good.
So for the custodian position at the Fritz Library, we had 23 inquiries, 6 applications given out and 4 returned. And I really appreciate Nancy and Carrie Kimmel for allowing me to use their employees. Nancy actually came and sat with me during the interview process. for 2 days. And we hired someone. I think you probably already gave that report, but oh, okay, I'm sorry. Sorry, Amy. So I'm excited.
Okay, good. Anything else? Okay. All right, let's go back to our struck off tax properties then. We have a property at 823 Greeno. Submitting an offer of 2,000 was made by Megan Smith. Taxes haven't been paid since 2011. It was struck off in 22 and appraised at $14,400. Is it an empty lot?
Those are empty lots. There's 15 lots.
I think Eddie sent me something on that and I forgot to forward it to you.
The lots right across the alley, we approved at $250 a lot, and these lots have on the end of them, there's some that's prone to flooding, which can't be built on. That's
That it?
Yeah, I believe. I think it is.
So there's,
Goes down to the corner. That doesn't look right. No, that's, maybe that does, yeah. They're just open lots.
mhm,
The lots across the alley, we approved at $250, and since there's some of these that are prone to flooding, I would say counter $200 per lot, which is $3,000.
okay. Is that your motion?
That's my motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to counter offer at $3,000 total. Any further discussion? All in favor? We have a couple that, well, three actually, that we had countered and the people came back to us with the amount that we countered for. So one of them is 612 Davis Street in Sanford, submitting a counter offer of $1,000. And sorry, I just got these this
Okay.
morning, by Clinton Bond. And that is the amount that we requested.
I move to approve the counter offer or the proposed bid.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion on that one? All in favor? Okay, and the next property is located at 120 Golden Drive. And they submitted a counter offer of $250, which was what we requested. It's just an empty lot, it looks like.
Was that, who's precinct?
Clinton Bond, yeah, it's
mine.
Fritch. Mhm.
I move to approve the the bid as proposed.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? And then the final one was also from Clinton Bond for the address of 305 Comanche Trail in Fritch, and he submitted a counter offer of $1,000, which was what we requested.
I move to accept the offer. Didn't do all three of those different, didn't I?
That's
Sorry,
okay.
Kelly. As proposed.
Second.
Sorry.
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion?
I can.
All in favor?
That's my fault.
Okay.
I couldn't remember what I said previous.
Figure it all out.
Hey.
Google Translate.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, Craig's on his way. We're gonna have an executive session, but we need to wait till he gets here. He said he'd be here at 10, so he should be here shortly. But I don't want to start all the budget stuff until after we do executive session. Let's just take a break for a minute. Finger.
Yeah. Yeah. Hard to look.
Are we,
What did I write down?
10:01.
10:01?
Yeah.
And back in at 10:40, I think. Hold up here. Thank you. Okay. The next thing on the agenda is item 26, to consider and or approve any action from executive session. So no action at this time. All right, item 27 is the budget work session for budget. And so y'all received an email from Leisha that outlined the changes that were made from the last time we met. The amendments. Do y'all have any questions about any of those, or let me call your attention to the Constable Precinct 2. So Angelica called me, and originally she had asked for $4,000 in her equipment, and we reduced that to $3,000. She said she needed to buy a safe, and I know that there's one over there in the JP2, but no one can locate the combination to it. And I think she checked on getting that, like, from a safe person to see about getting into that. And I think it was gonna, a safe cracker.
Yeah.
I think it was gonna cost quite a bit of money to do that. So
I'm here too. If y'all have any questions, I apologize. I've been sick all weekend, so I didn't want to go get.
you sound super congested. Yeah. So anyway, she's needing, she was wanting a safe, to purchase a safe. So requested that equipment line item be raised back up to 4,000. Angelica, what did you estimate the cost of the safe?
The original estimate was about 600 and I think a little under 650. I don't know if they can get us any discounts further than that. I haven't been able to check into that yet, but online the amount was going to be a little under 650, which would have been in that $4,000 amount that I had asked for the budget originally.
Okay, and I just have a question, like, is it not possible to store like secure evidence in the sheriff's department evidence storage?
That would be something I'd have to get with them with, because I don't know how they're doing things as far as evidence goes, and I don't have excuse me, I don't have access to that. And I don't know with their protocols and their policies how that would work for me to.
So what kind of items would require you to keep them in a safe, and when would you come upon those?
So anytime that there's any kind of if there's ever any firearms or any high dollar items that are left behind in a writ of possession house that I would come across. Also any paperwork that, contain documents like birth certificates, things like that, that I would have to collect. Any kind of medications. And I have come across that already. That I had to have that stored somewhere, and I just I kept it in the trunk of my car, which is not good practice, but that's the only way that I could make sure and keep access to it 24/7, that nobody else would be able to get that. And the only reason for the bigger safe is because if there's ever any long guns that I would have to keep, I would just need something a little bit bigger.
How long do you have possession of those? Like what do you do with those? You have to check them in and then release them to the family
Yeah.
members, or how does that work?
Yeah, I would just have to release them back to the property owner, but a lot of the times on those writ of possessions, the people sometimes don't even show up, and that's why we go do the writ of possessions. We have to put their stuff out on the curb, and usually they're not present during that time, so then I have to go locate wherever they've moved to and then get them back their stuff. I think the last time I did it, I ended up having to send out a letter, and then they contacted me, and it was almost 2 weeks before I could get a hold of them to get them back their items.
How's this been done in the past? There was no say.
Do you know, Angelica?
She says she puts in the trunk, which isn't a good.
Yeah, I had to put it in the trunk of my car because if anybody ever goes in my office, to clean or anything, I just don't need that out in the open to where they have access to it.
Sheriff Department, it's pretty big evidence room.
It's logical just to work with the sheriff to me, but I don't know much about this.
Yeah, well, there's pretty strict rules on evidence. I used to be an evidence tech, but that was over 10 years ago. So I don't know what's changed now with it, but I mean, it's pretty tight. And I don't know if I'd have to go back to school to be certified in that or anything to be able to have access to that evidence locker or not, to be able to go in and get my stuff if needed. This is just kind of more of the simpler way to keep up with my own things and not have to do all that. But
Start intertwining responsibilities to different departments, then we're gonna have to take that precedent to everything else about storage of.
I'm not against the safe purchase. I just don't want to put a lot of extra work on a position that for you, basically. But anyway, I was just curious. My questions were more of procedures and why, not so much about a safe purchase. I just.
So by law, you have to get that stuff?
yeah, I have to make sure I can't go put that stuff out like on the curb. That would be a danger to everybody else because that's accessible by anybody that walks by.
So what's the definition of what you have to take in your possession of what can be left on the curb? Is it a dollar value? Because you're saying drugs or medications, not drugs, but medications, firearms. I mean, it's like jewelry, like precious metals.
Anything that would be, I don't think it's a certain dollar amount. It's just anything that's of any kind of high value. Like if somebody's, I mean, I guess it's up to our discretion as far as not the medication, don't get me wrong, and the firearms, but like if, there was diamond earrings or something, I wouldn't leave those out on the curb.
So is that a liability thing for you or just like a respect thing or like like safety for the community as far as firearms?
As far as the firearms and the medication, I could also get y'all a list of what my requirements are on that.
Well, I mean, like if you left, say if you missed a medication and some kid got into it, is that a liability on you or is it just on the
It
tenant
can
landlord?
No, it can be a liability on me because I'm leaving that out, on the street. I mean, it'd be like if I had found, meth inside of somebody's vehicle and I just left it out on the curb and, a child got it. I mean, I think that could come back and, be on me personally as a law enforcement officer.
So are you responsible? I guess I don't fully understand when you, is it an eviction or?
It's after an eviction.
So then you have to go in and you got to clean out the house or the landlord does?
Well, the landlord does.
But
Yeah,
they
the
Has to keep the peace.
have to give them a reasonable amount of time
Oh,
to get their
okay.
possessions out.
But isn't it up to the landlord to store that stuff?
I wouldn't.
I
I'd
mean,
have to get,
you don't physically remove it. You just are there to keep the peace, right?
right, but I'm also required as a law enforcement officer not to give access to like, especially like the firearms and the prescription medication to, just a regular civilian.
Because I really think, I know it feels like we're majoring in the minors a little bit over a little safe, but I just don't want to make us liable for you holding stuff that maybe you should maybe just call a deputy and say, hey, we got some firearms, we got some medication. Can you check this stuff in? And then
So
you,
I am a law enforcement officer, so that does fall under my duties as a law enforcement officer. That'd be like me pulling somebody over and them having a warrant and me having to have them transport them. I mean, that to me, I just wouldn't do as a law enforcement officer. I mean, that's still my part of my duty as a law enforcement officer.
so we have insurance if a tenant ever says, I had 5 guns and I don't know where they're at. I guess the constable's got them. We have insurance for that kind of
Well,
stuff.
I have a body cam and that's why I'm bonded. I wear my body cam during those writ of possession, so that way there's no indiscrepancies, and then it would be logged in. Like Commissioner Prock was saying, like the sheriff's office logs their stuff in through their evidence. This would kind of almost be my process to do it. And I've talked to other constables, and they do that same process. I mean, they have their safes where they keep their stuff.
Okay. Well, thank you. I don't know anything about it, so I was just asking questions again to educate myself. I appreciate it.
Also, on TAC, I know last time you asked about it, but on TAC, if you go under there and say, what is a constable, it'll kind of give you a layout of like all the duties that we're responsible for. But I'd be more than happy to share that with you as well.
Oh, no, that's all right. I mean, I appreciate it. That sounded very, oh, no, I don't want to know what anybody does. No, I didn't mean it that way. I appreciate that offer, though.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to add more work to you.
Yeah, no, and I mean, it's already part of my duties. It's just to keep a safe place to where it does have somewhere to go, just like it has a chain of evidence for the sheriff's office and the things that they do. This is kind of my process to make sure that it does stay in there and make sure that it does take that liability off, saying, it was kept in a safe until you got it, and then here it is. It went from strictly from me to the safe, on record, and then straight from that safe back to you, and it wasn't accessible to anybody else.
Last question I have. So if they never show up for a long gun, what does it become property of the county? Or how
Yes,
does that?
it would go through the process, I believe. You could have the possession or get it turned over by the judge's order and get it auctioned off, or the process doing that. But I'm sure there's a big process. I'm learning just as much as y'all are on the constable side. So
She listed $649.99 for the cost of the safe in her request.
Okay, anybody else have any other issues or questions?
I'm okay adding it back because we need to say, do you need me to say that? Okay,
That would be lovely.
I'm okay adding.
I don't remember knocking it down.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, she wanted a cage and whatever that thing's, a pusher thing on the front.
Yeah,
Yeah, car.
she had mentioned the safe being in the basement.
Oh, I do remember this.
I'm fine
So
with
she was
that.
gonna look at the safe to open it.
Yeah,
So
Oh,
we've
it's-
already agreed that it was all right that she had a safe. We just
Yeah.
were gonna
Yeah,
see if
we
they
just thought we
wanted-
had one. So,
thank you.
So to recap, we're increasing her equipment line item from 3,000 to 4,000.
yeah, and that's what's in the proposed budget, right?
Well,
Well,
that's in what's
yes, what,
adopted budget for
yeah,
today.
for
Yes.
today.
Okay.
It's already in there. All right, thank you, Angelica.
thank y'all so much.
Hope you get to feeling better.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, Alicia, what else? Did we need
I
to,
had a email from, and this is just pointing out, it's in the budget, the copy of the budget that you received already. Kelly emailed me regarding the elections budget. And she received a updated invoice for her computer support and maintenance. And so that was needed to be increased from $14,700 to $16,568 to cover that invoice.
okay, and it's in the,
Is that in
it's already in there.
Yes, it's already accounted for.
Okay.
I just
the fifth draft?
wanted to make sure that.
Yeah,
I pointed out all of the changes that I've made since the last version that you've seen.
Right.
The other is the change in the copier budgets. We finally got a voice that broke out copier by department. A lot of the ones who got new copiers, their budgets had to increase a lot. And then the ones who have the older copy machines, theirs went down. So I've adjusted those. I can point out every one of them if you want me to.
Oh, you sent us that email.
And I sent y'all the list of all the changes
Yeah.
that were made.
Right.
The other, on the county attorney's state supplement, we have put that in its own fund. And I remember to remove the revenue, but I forgot to remove the expense. So I took that out of his line item for the salary supplement. He uses $28,500 to pay for that supplement, but those supplements will now be paid out of that new.
Okay.
So I removed that $28,500.
Already in the adopted budget.
Yes, already in the one that you have a copy.
Okay, was there something in the sheriff's office?
Yes, on the, like it's the evidence clerk. He was started at 44,000. And so that's what I put into the budget was the 44,000 plus the $200 a month raise
In
for the new
October.
budget.
Uh-huh.
But I believe Amy's received a request that they wanted to up her to what the prior person was making. Am I right, sure?
Yeah, so we had the prior, and I don't remember, it was like 46.
I think it was 40, I've got it right here. It was 48,358. Then if we did the $200 raise, it would bump it up to 50,758.
Yeah, and the reason we started off a little bit earlier is because she got trained up in the probationary period. So back up the full pay when she got some training, done very well. And so when we said, go ahead and put her at full pay, which had been allotted what it was to begin with. Because we didn't advise the investment. I didn't talk to them. So it's not what was already on there. It changed the budget. I just was salary as it was applied. Needs the communication.
She's worked 1 month, got a raise, and now she's gonna get another raise and work for 2 months, but yes. So that is gonna be, as the budget doesn't show the correct amount, to give her the raise for
So what's she making right now? What did she get started at?
44.
44.
44? So it's like a $6,000 raise.
She was, the money was already there and allotted for the salary. So I was never advised it was going to change. I don't know why, it's specific to it, we're going to take money out of the budget. So I know Alicia didn't know it was like that, but I do the same thing with deputy. We start them out at probation and then I decided to pay that money's there and that's why we should have that. I need this salary to change.
the salary cap got changed because we had a request to lower the budget for that, so that way you could give more to your other girls as, and then I guess it just stayed that way. But that was the original request before was because that budget was gonna be lowered, so that way you give more to the other girls in the
I
office.
do remember being approached about it.
So I think that's why it got.
You're probably right, I'm not.
Did we raise the two, did we add money to that after that request for the others?
I don't think
No,
so.
we did not. No, it was never actually, it never went into that.
The only thing that they've gotten in the new budget is the $200 a month raise.
So normally if we took her to what the person prior was making, the original salary, there wouldn't be a raise with that because she got a raise. So I wouldn't add the,
Well, if that's the case, sir, then why did the deputies get a raise? If I have a new deputy that starts, and I'm not having him full pay until he's over his probationary period or whatever, I ask him when I bring him to full pay, which has been allotted for his salary, is he not allotted the raise that everyone else in the county gets?
It's up to you if you want to give them a raise or not. But usually, as long as it's put in the budget.
it was not usually raise on raise kind of thing.
It's not a specific raise, bringing it from the.
So what's
And
the,
I just want to point out one thing, that the statute says at the budget, whenever they set when the budget's set, that the commissioners court has the sole authority to set the amount of salaries.
Correct, I'm not arguing the authority of the commissioners court to do that.
so what's a normal like probation period?
And in the past, right now, we have no policy on paper, but in practice, it has been, so they take the position, decide whatever the pay is going to be, the commissioner's court. And if that includes a $200 a month salary raise, then the elected official decides whether or not that applies to any new personnel. So that's kind of been the practice. But the commissioner's court has the authority to set whatever those salaries are right
Right.
now.
Yeah, I honestly, one or the other would be, In my
I think the
brain.
Concept of being. Is not speaking of giving her a raise. Start them off a little bit lower in the pay and then. Those kind of gradual.
So, but what's a normal probation period?
It depends on the case by case basis. Some people are more intelligent than other people. Pick up things quicker and do a lot of it. Some people take a lot longer to pick up concepts and procedural things. So she's doing the work that Jacqueline's doing and more than that. And she's doing very well. So she probably could be paid with Jacqueline, which was already allotted. It's just.
And how long was Jacqueline there? She's like there 5 years, right? So she worked her way up to that salary. That's where we're trying to get with this, is that we're working ourselves out of
It wasn't said.
benefits.
The reason that it wasn't put what it was in the last however many years is because.
But her probation period was basically a month, right? Because she's been there a month.
Just increased her up to the 48,000 a year just for September. So the only bad thing is if this is not adjusted, then I would have to put her back down to what she originally made, because right now it's budgeted at the 48. However, for the new budget, it's budgeted at what, 46? For yeah,
46,401.
46,
So
401.
right now, we just moved her up to the 48,000 a year for September. So if this isn't changed, then next month, you'll keep it the same, I'm gonna have to put her back down.
46.
So she'd get a month raise and then we would have to move her back down then. That, but normally, it would be the same as that 50,000 that's on. If you look at the one above that, where the records.
Yeah, the 5759 is what it would be with the $200 raise.
But right now, she's making that 48 because it was already budgeted.
So the 5759, who makes that?
The what?
The 5759? The one right above it?
Oh, 50,750. The records.
Oh, 50,759, that would be the records clerk, which I think is Raquel.
Okay.
And Raquel's been there how long?
13.
13
So
years.
someone that's been there 1.5 months is gonna make the same as someone that's been there 13 years? I mean, that's where we're trying to
This-
get
yeah.
away from.
And it goes back to a problem that we've said in here time and time again, that and it has been pointed out, the state statute, we have that control. We've tried to put it into elected officials and department heads jurisdiction to set these.
To
to
get,
where when you hire somebody, you set it lower, but it's still a good wage. But if that doesn't happen, then we're gonna have to start setting salaries as commissioners for it, because that's our
I
duty.
don't know that the $4,000 was taken out of the budget and brought to your attention as a mistake.
No, no. I
Well,
know-
no,
I
we
know-
knew
I know.
because we trusted that you were gonna drop it because she was coming in. And when we saw that it was lower, we thought you were dropping it because of that, not,
And the stuff we've been talking about for months.
right,
I mean, we talked about that for several meetings.
1 hour, I'll just start everyone.
Well, I think you already do that, so do you know what, Sheriff?
Hey, just-
Like every deputy that's came in has been paid. from-
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know.
I mean, it's a problem. I mean, if we have to start solving as commissioners court, we can. I mean, if you can roll your eyes and be disrespectful to this court, you go to that, but we're trying to find a solution around this.
So I'm okay with taking her to what the budget, to the 48, like y'all said, but not the raise in addition to that.
Well, if we do that, it's at his discretion.
The raise,
No. We can make the budget instead of the 5759, it would be what was in the prior year budget.
48,359.
That'd be without the
Period.
raise. And they
yes,
can't, yeah.
yeah. that's
That would be
what I'm saying.
without the two.
It's one or the other for me.
Everybody else.
I agree too.
If you want to do the raise, then do the raise, but not take them up to 48, or do the 48 and no raise.
Like the raises, we
That's
talked
what I'm
about
saying.
that last
She
year.
hasn't been paid that yet.
Yeah, she hasn't been paid.
We was going to have a policy.
We've got to get that in paper by the next meeting.
Mhm.
Last year, we did the same thing. We had the same discussion about how long do you have to be here
Right.
before the
We
raise?
don't have a
applies?
policy.
And we still haven't done that.
Yeah,
So that's our fault.
yeah.
We need that in writing. That way, if you got to be here a certain length of time, or you don't get the, in this case, $200 raise.
Yeah.
But where does that start? When is a person allowed the $200 raise? How long do you have to be here?
A year, like a vacation time.
After
That's why I said.
I think a year
a
is,
year they
a
earn.
year is realistic,
Yeah.
and that's what it should be.
Right.
I
And
think that's what we said last year, wasn't it? Over,
We just gotta put it on.
Writing the policy because we said, we hope that everybody's listening and that's what we want you to do.
yeah,
If we have to put in writing now, we will.
it needs to be in writing.
Yeah.
That way we know, we don't have these questions come up in this argument every time.
Agreed.
It's not in writing, but I would
So
say
is
wait a
the-
year on the raise.
So Alicia, is the 48,359 in the adopted budget
No,
proposal?
46,401 is what is the adopted budget right now. Because it is the 44,000 that she started with, plus the $2,400 a month, or $2,400 a month.
But this month, she's getting paid 48,359
Right, because we've got one more month
with the current budget.
with the current budget. Yes,
So
so there's basically 4 options. One is to leave it at what her 44,000 plus the 200. Or to bump her up to the 48 with no raise, or to bump her up to the 5759 with just the 48,759.
Plus
Or
the raise.
fourth object, or the fourth is just to set the salary at whatever you want to set the salary at.
So in other departments where there's clerk tiers, this can be for everyone I pointed out. So I'm saying, when they start out at clerk 1, deputy 1, whatever, do they start out at a lower probation period pay? Or
Well, it's backwards, so 3
Three.
is the lowest.
3 is low.
then 2, and
Yeah, that's right. That is right. So she's coming in at a 1 after 1 month.
Oh, no, oh, no.
I don't, on that, it's different departments.
yeah. there are.
Or different, places, depending on what
Their job.
the elected official wants to do.
Mhm.
You know,
Well, that's why I'm asking you
Carrie,
guys.
she has her-
Well, that's why I'm asking
she
you
does
specifically.
Keep them low, and then, it just depends on what department that.
Well, that's what I'm asking. So your department, when you bring in,
But see, she's only got
I
one
have
person.
One girl, she's a deputy because I only have one employee, so my budget is at the 1, at the 1.
Uh-huh.
And I had her at a 6 months probation.
So 6 months.
6 months.
So you dropped her down for 6 months and now she's making what?
Started her at a lower rate.
So
I
at the
started
end
her
of six,
Right, and then I moved her up, yes.
at the end of 6 months, you bump it up to the one,
That was
2 or
what
1
I
or
wanted to
3?
do, yes, so,
Okay,
but I have,
which is very logical.
On me, we start at a lower rate and after 3 months, I think, then they go to the deputy one below.
now how do we do it in the county?
In the past, it's been done, we start them at like the deputy one,
So they start.
they start at 1. We don't have a
You don't have. 1, 2, 3.
probationary period. Yeah, we have the tiered, but we don't have a
You start at
probationary. 3,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
to
Start at
1,
3.
3,
And
at the
then
lowest
2.
tier.
But
We
there's
start at
only-
the lowest tier.
There's only like one in your office,
Correct.
right?
Yes,
And there's 4 girls, but there's only one.
yes.
You have 1, 1.
1, 2 of them just bumped up to 2.
So there's another issue we're gonna have to fix as commissioners court,
Yeah,
because there's 3 different ways that they do it. I mean, we have to.
I agree. There needs to be,
Some standard.
there needs to be a standard to operate off of. Just having everything random is not
Which we've
So-
talked about this, and that's the only way we're ever going to
usually about this time of year, every year.
To-
we talked about.
We keep trying to,
solve that issue of pricing ourselves out of. So then we're gonna have to start cutting services because we're paying so
Well-
much salaries, which I still think we need to pay good salaries so we get good people. And we've got good people.
That's a whole different discussion.
It is.
I think we keep,
Well, I think that, and this is just my opinion, like the person who's making 50,759 and you start a brand new person, I would think that my experience being in the office
Mhm.
would be worth more than 0.
Yeah,
You know?
that's where I'm
And
at.
it's not just the sheriff's department, it's road and bridge, it's
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah.
So
It's every,
I know this is a thing. So but to go back to this, what do we want to do? Do we
yeah,
want?
we need to make a
Do
decision.
we want it, to take them up to what, the person before 48 something and leave it? Or 40, or do just give the raise to 46?
since we have 3 different answers that they all have probably about an average of 3 months probation, and then they start making that. I would be fine, since we don't have it on paper, I'd be fine giving her, because it's a problem that was created before. That I'd be fine with getting her the clerk 1 pay without the $200 raise.
The 48,359,
Because that's what we do in the county clerk, clerk 1, they come in making that.
well, 3.
We come in at the
3
lowest.
is the lowest.
I'm sorry,
Well,
we come in at the lowest,
This is.
but there's only 1.
No, there's not a system with the sheriff stuff.
Well, there's clerk 1 and clerk 2.
it's not, they're really kind of.
Well,
Yeah, there's not.
So
a
they're the
system.
exact, so that's just a position, it's not a
Yeah.
tier.
Yeah,
It's not.
yeah, I've looked at it.
Well, that changes everything
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, because they have different,
I think it probably was set up to be that, but it's been changed throughout all the years.
And that clerk 2 position was done away with to make room for another deputy.
Right.
But I don't,
so is everybody okay with the 48,359, no raise?
Yeah.
yeah, I'm fine with that, but
Me too.
Okay,
Okay, I will update that.
I think we don't need to forget to fix this.
Yeah.
yes,
Well, we
We
need to
come up
start,
with it,
we
yeah.
need to start next month fixing all, meeting with departments.
yes.
And, you know,
I mean, it's gonna be,
consistent way of doing things,
Yeah, I like it.
but
And I'm glad
we
we're.
don't want to start after somebody's already been hired and use them to.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. What else, Alicia? What other issues do we need to discuss?
So we'll talk about that. We talked about, that's all of the stuff that I had on my list.
Okay, that's what I was thinking that was the other one. Do you guys have any other comments on the budget or?
The only other thing that I did want to point out for this current fiscal year is, I think that we are going to be well above the surplus that was budgeted. For instance, we budgeted 85,000 for interest income And as of the end of August, we're already at 660 something thousand because interest rates have
Oh, we're
gone up
so high.
so high.
Right.
I know a lot of the fuel that we budgeted high for was not used. We still have some of the contingency line item that's not been used. There was some. And there's quite a few things that are going to be left in the budget.
Right.
So I
And
think we
that's
will-
pretty standard that we usually have that left.
Like
Just saying that.
interest rates, well.
Yeah, that, I mean, that,
That's not dependable, but
Mhm.
so it's not gonna stay. Fuel, who knows?
Well, we are looking good for the budget and I think this budget as it is now, I think we're gonna be even more in tune with what will be actually spent, I hope. Because it's my second one instead of my first one, so I'm a little more educated, experienced.
Y'all have done, everybody has done a great job, I believe, of working on it. Y'all have all worked. Thank y'all very much. And there's been some stuff that's come to our attention through it that we're like, oh, we need to look into that. I like that.
definitely. Okay, so anything else on the work session part of the budget? And we've discussed all of the proposed changes. Right, Alicia?
Yes.
We kind of covered 28, 27, 28. So 29 is to consider and or approve our budget.
Approved.
No, 28 was just any changes. And we talked about those.
Do we need to make a motion to? I don't,
Those-
I don't know what that,
Yeah, since we did actually make that change, 28 allows us to consider and or approve that. So that would be the salary for the sheriff and that extra money into the constable and
the
Copiers.
increase in the copier.
the copiers.
And decrease on some of them.
Right,
So we approved budget, then the tax rate.
yes.
So we approve are we approving the
Well,
changes?
yes, let's go back to
Then we go
28
back.
and get a motion to approve those proposed changes that are actually already in the adopted budget. We need to, we made sure, because Alicia could have always taken those out. Okay,
So I move to approve the changes to the proposed budget for fiscal year 2023-24.
Okay.
As presented.
okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that? All in favor? Okay. So yes, the next thing is to consider and or approve the budget.
You'll hang on just a second. I'll give y'all a new bottom line.
Okay, perfect.
Giving up.
Right on here.
What happened? Where am I?
So it's gonna make the bottom line, if we leave it at 56 cents. Then the bottom line will be $118,810. That's good.
Okay,
So it's about 3,000 difference on all this.
Yeah.
118, so there's about 55.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna change the taxes in retirement because it's gonna be very minuscule. It'll be worth more of my time.
yeah, so about $3,000, not quite. Okay, so do I hear a motion to consider and or approve our budget?
I'll make a motion to approve the budget as presented.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the budget? Okay, is this where we need the words or is it when we adopt the tax rates? Okay,
Read exactly what
Right.
I've written. And
Got
that has to go in next exactly as.
right.
And I
Okay.
put several different scenarios, so if you need a new one, I've got a spreadsheet ready to go that I can just calculate what the percent
Right.
difference is and all that good stuff.
Okay, so we have a motion, what?
No, go
Okay,
ahead.
we have motion and a second to approve the budget as presented. Any further discussion on that? All in favor?
You have to have a record.
We have a
vote.
record vote, so
Should be what?
a record vote, so
Person has
I'm
to-
saying Gary Alexander,
What say you?
4.
4, Ben Bentley,
4.
Chris Prock,
4.
Dwight Kirksey,
4.
Judge Irwin, 4. Okay, so we have a record vote. Okay, now we need to talk tax rate. So consider and or approve the tax rate. We need to set a tax rate at this point. You all have that information. That Alicia's kind of given you all the different scenarios. Does anyone have any discussion or
I think
where are
the
we at?
county's in very good financial shape, but considering that, I think we could stand to drop the tax rate to 0.545. And that would be a deficit, a negative of it's 282, 840.
85.
Yeah, 285, given that $3,000 difference now,
roughly.
so it'd be about 285.
But I think we could stand, and that's usually not a negative either, but
Right?
that's not overcutting, but it's still a deal with that.
Is that, do you want, can you give us an exact number or now that we've done that or that's pretty,
Yes,
pretty good
let me-
ballpark.
Open a difference.
I mean, because we added 3,000 from that approximately.
Jerry, can you pull that budget back up on to the sheriff's department?
I mean, that's gonna be really close.
So.
So does anybody else have any
46.
comments on their thoughts on the adopted tax rate?
I was sitting around there with 55 at the highest, because with it's 285 deficit, we still have the 500,000 contingency, which is like 315 to the good.
Right, plus all that,
3 years ago, we didn't have any contingency.
right,
Thank you.
plus we have all that revenue
So at
from,
54.
What are you thinking?
I was saying there, I was sitting at 54.5 and then 55 at the highest.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
So with those changes for the sheriff's department, because that's the only one that's not in here. 54.5 would be a deficit budget of $284,798.
okay,
284, what?
284,798.
798.
and it gives us,
Our audited fund balance for fiscal year 2022 was 9,887,000. We have a budgeted fund balance for 23 of 449,000. Our budget policy states that we're supposed to keep at least 50% of our budgeted expenditures in fund balance. So that takes out 8.3 million, which leaves about 2 million of fund balance that we would be able to use for that deficit.
I think that's, sounds realistic.
See those words there, if you want to make a motion.
So this is the first blank, this is the second blank.
Say this again now. Tell me what.
We have
So
to
you
say
have
those
to
words.
Say this exact motion.
Yeah.
This first blank would be, if you're gonna do
This
this
one.
one,
Okay,
And then the second blank.
I'm gonna write on that.
Percentage.
And then
Try to make it.
well, the increase is,
Down there at the bottom, yeah, like
It's this-
1.8 or something like that.
Because it is not an increase compared to last year.
it's a,
It's an increase of the no new revenue rate.
Right.
oh, so it's a
So, no, you're
1.80 increase.
Yes.
It's a 1.80.
1.80 increase of the, from the new, no new revenue rate.
Okay. We all good with that?
We'll have some more discussion.
We'll have a record vote too.
Do what?
Yeah, we'll have more discussion. You can make the motion if you want to.
I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.545, which is effectively a 1.80% increase in the tax rate.
Which it sounds kind of,
That doesn't sound,
doesn't sound right because we're actually dropping the tax rate.
No,
it's going
But-
down. That doesn't,
it's going in tangents. It
Yeah,
doesn't make sense, but
but that's exactly, I saw that on the listserv that Jim Allison put that same information.
it sounds not.
I know.
it doesn't sound right, but it's an increase from the no new revenue rate, not the previous year rate.
Okay.
That's what.
Okay, so we have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to set the tax rate at 54.5. Is there any further discussion on that? Any comments, any discussion? No?
I will say though, and this is just my opinion, if anybody's watching like department heads and all that stuff, if we can start leaning towards taking some things that need to be contingency out of contingency and not ARP, it'll give us a good view of that amount. Because last year we didn't know like how much really is contingency or how much was ARP. Like if it is emergency contingency stuff, if we can take it out of contingency, it'll give us a good view overall over the year of when there is no ARP money, like how much, oh crap, stuff is happening.
Right.
That we need to.
Which that's gonna be so
Has to
variable.
qualify for
Yeah.
contingency.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay, good comment. Yeah. All right, we have a motion and a second. Y'all ready to vote? Any further discussion? All right, we need to take a record vote again, so I'll call for a vote. Commissioner Alexander,
4.
Commissioner Bentley,
Or
Commissioner Prock, Commissioner Kirksey,
4.
and Judge Irwin 4. We have a record vote.
Does it feel like a weight's been lifted?
Okay,
I don't get a vote, but.
We should make one more draft and send it out to everybody.
right, we need draft number.
I will do is, I will get all the changes in the actual financial software and I will send you the copy that I sent, filed.
Because we have to file it, with all the words.
Yes, because it's gonna have a
So,
cover page.
Yeah, the cover page and all the words and numbers. Okay.
And I do apologize for all of the copies this over the Thursday, Friday.
Oh, that's good. You're just doing your job and we appreciate it. She did.
That's what the
Yeah.
legislation
Yeah.
says.
I
Be
didn't
sure to say he was the one who said it.
It's saying an increase does not agree with what I'm thinking. This is not agreeing with what I'm saying.
Raises and taxes.
But it is actually a reduction in the tax rate.
Yeah, because our
56 cents to 54
54.5,
from the prior year.
1.56 to point, yeah.
545,
or we paid,
4.5.
545.
545,
we had 59 right now.
54 and a half.
No, we had 59. We're at 56 right now.
Right.
Yeah, we were at
Oh, yeah.
59.
56, we're down, yeah.
We're going in the right direction.
Going in the right direction.
Yes.
For the last 3
Yes.
years, 59, 56.
And that's good,
Yes.
as long as our values.
We're going in the right direction because we have to.
Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion and second, any further discussion? All in favor, doesn't have to be a record vote.
I like